We want to create the space for youth to come together and have meaningful conversations about what does it look like for them to live a healthy lifestyle. What are they seeing in their communities? What are they seeing among their peers? What are they struggling with? Is it, emotional well-being? Is it physical fitness? Is it access to healthy foods? We want to put youth in the position to where they have the agency to tell us what they are seeing as a priority.
Officials with the Kansas 4-H Foundation and Healthy Blue are partnering to invest in the mental health and well-being of Kansas youth. Healthy Blue, a collaboration of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, Blue KC, and Anthem Partnership Holding Company, has pledged $100,000 to the initiative. On today's Sound Living, helping youth create meaningful relationships, learn coping skills, and discover independence. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wickman. K-State Associate Professor and Extension Specialist in Youth Development in the Department of Applied Human Sciences and Kansas Health Foundation Distinguished Professor of Health at K-State, Elaine Johannes, and Kansas 4-H Youth Development Specialist in the Southwest Research Extension Center, Amy Sollock, talk about the positive impact that Healthy Blue and 4-H can have on the health and well-being of Kansas youth. Elaine, it seems like we often come back to what has happened in the past, and that's really how we collect data and kind of look for trends. And some of the things we're seeing is that mental health is still an issue that we're trying to tackle.
Yeah, Jeff, it was amazing. How many times have we talked about the mental health of our young people even before the pandemic and the effects of that unintended isolation, I guess, that maybe our young people are feeling. Nationally, I think we're seeing some effects of not being able to have a routine. And then we also realize that how we as adults addressed being sequestered for a period of time. So just recently, the Surgeon General's report came out on isolation and loneliness, and that has some real health effects, negative health effects.
Both mental and physical.
Yes. Physically, we seem to have higher blood pressure. Hypertension is connected to lack of being connected to people. Our issues around cholesterol, it's amazing. Some of the research that looks at how do we have more cholesterol in our bloodstream when we have fewer opportunities to be social connected. So from a physical standpoint, yeah, some of the research is showing that. But from a social emotional standpoint, we are a species that really thrive on knowing that we are part of a community. And then the younger people, some of the information that have been collected from schools over this last year, 2023, shows that children, even at the age of 8, feel alone, maybe depressed. That is one of the items in the Communities That Care questionnaire survey results that came out. Even our rates of young people in 10th and 12th grade who are thinking about hurting themselves, actually suicide ideology, that's that thinking about killing themselves. Yeah, Kansas kids are feeling the brunt of, I think, not being connected.
Is this showing that social media is not the answer, that we still need that one-on-one, face-to-face interaction?
Yeah, Jeff, I think that's spot on. I think young people thrive when they are in a place where they could have actual friendships, test their thoughts, their joys, their skills with people of their own age, and also with an adult who knows that child and knows that child's name and their aspirations and their hopes, but also their worries. And those are things that are communicated best, I think, in real time with real people who are part of community and who consistently are and authentically engaged with a young person.
And this is a good opportunity then to bring Amy into the conversation, because 4-H is one of those organizations that really works with youth and youth development. So Amy, as part of the 4-H Healthy Blue grant, what type of things will you be focusing on?
Yeah, everything Elaine was just saying was sparking so many ideas and thoughts in my head. It sounds exactly like 4-H youth development. Our young people need to be in safe environments with caring adults where they are learning together, socializing together, where it's a safe space to fail and try again and succeed and celebrate those successes along the way. And that environment will then position our 4-H young people in a way that they have the skills and kind of the tools in their back pocket, if you will, to lead a healthy life. And we just received some funds from Healthy Blue. Our partners at Healthy Blue have recognized that we've been doing great positive youth development work for, over 100 years. And they reached out to us, and we thought this is a natural partnership where we need the funds to do the programs, and they obviously have a big interest, and it's one of their cornerstones to produce healthy people and healthy communities. And so we are launching what we're calling Healthy Blue. We're launching it at Kansas 4-H Discovery Days. It's kind of our big kickoff event. The first evening, actually, when Kansas 4-Hers come to campus at Kansas State University, and we're going to begin a series of what we call community conversations. We want to create the space for youth to come together and have meaningful conversations about what does it look like for them to live a healthy lifestyle. What are they seeing in their communities? What are they seeing among their peers? What are they struggling with? Is it, emotional well-being? Is it physical fitness? Is it access to healthy foods? We want to put youth in the position to where they have the agency to tell us what they are seeing as a priority. And then based upon what they tell us, what we find out, we'll then be able to put a strategic plan and make a plan around those priorities and how we want to address those. That's what 4-H does best. We take research, what we know works, and then we implement them, and we let our youth lead the way.
Well, I think that's been proven, too, by the way that you continually update the programmings that you offer. You've moved from, not just all on the livestock side. There's a lot of things that have to do with STEM now that are involved with 4-H. So that's really kind of part of that process, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to find those sparks, those things that ignite a youth's passion for lifelong learning. And whether that's in the sciences or in the ag sector, it could be healthy living, right? So in this particular example, we're focusing on kind of a holistic, healthy being, right? Body and mind. We want kids to have those skills to be able to be resilient, to overcome the challenges that they face so that they can be responsible, thriving adults.
Amy, I may add one of the things that I've observed over the years that 4-H has been able to do is balance the technology that young people have and have to use, skills in technology and STEM, the sciences, but more importantly, balance that with reality and context and the communication skills in real time with real individuals. And that gets back to the adults in 4-H who are modeling how do you do both and? How do you use technology for good and for learning, but don't let it to intrude upon who you are and who you can be?
Sure. Yeah. I think 4-H does a really good job at creating an environment that allows youth to thrive, right? Everything you were talking about earlier about isolation and this lack or a decrease in these human connections that form. 4-H does all those things really, really well. We have the volunteer structure with caring adults. We have the project mastery where children learn in a variety of topic areas, and it's ongoing, right? We create something that nurtures their cognitive abilities, their social skills. It's a real holistic program that just creates young people that are prepared to take on what the world throws at them. And it seems like the world is throwing more and more at our young people every day.
Amy, did you happen to notice during the pandemic when you had to do some things online or hybrid, did you notice a shift in how people reacted from what was the normal club experience?
Absolutely. We did the best with what we could at the time, but that same sense of human connectedness, it just can't quite be replaced, even in the best of virtual environments. And people were very eager to get back to normal programming, for a better term. They were very anxious to get back and to see one another, to laugh with one another, to, eat and celebrate with one another. That's what 4-H does. It connects kids and families in a way that many virtual environments can't, or dare I say other organizations don't quite connect people in the same way that 4-H can.
One of the things I think, Jeff, that probably Amy is getting at is that there's a portion of our young people who really thrived with virtual online experiences, and they are happier than anyone to continue in that remote learning. However, the majority of young people really do need that real-time experience in real place with the adults who understand their need to develop identity. And from an adolescent developmental standpoint, identity is best developed with testing it. And you test that best in real time with people such as a caring adult who understands that adolescent development requires experimentation, requires testing new interests, learning new skills, and then honing those so there's mastery. And that's what 4-H does do, is provide opportunity to try different interests and skills and then develop a mastery that could become a career path.
It's also kind of difficult to talk about 4-H youth without also talking about the volunteers and the mentors, because I imagine that they probably suffered some of the same feelings when they were isolated from their normal club membership.
Absolutely. We have some of the best volunteers in the world. They're very committed, they're very passionate, and they just continue to give of their time and their talents to 4-H young people. And so much of that was harder to do during COVID. And, we've come out of that. Our program has been quite resilient, and I think we've done a decent job of coming out of that. But we're still seeing long-term effects of that sort of social isolation when it just wasn't safe to do those things. But our volunteers came out of the gate ready to go. Our clubs are thriving, our projects are thriving, our events are seeing fantastic participation, and so that just shows how much people missed us or missed some of those opportunities, shall I say, and they were eager to come back.
In addition to Discovery Days, what else will we see for Healthy Blue maybe throughout the next year or so?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself because I really want to practice what we preach. I want to let the youth take the lead. I want to know from the young people where they see this thing going, right? We've been given this tremendous financial gift, and I want to make sure that what we do with it is going to make an impact and be beneficial for our young people and our communities across Kansas. So with that said, these community conversations, these facilitated discussions that are youth-driven, the first one will be launched at Discovery Days, like I said, and then I do anticipate a series of those similar conversations being held throughout the state at various locations. And then we're going to take their feedback. What did we learn from those conversations? And we're probably going to assemble some kind of team of young people, like a task force, and we're going to start to strategize, start to make a plan. Well, how do we best address, our top one or two, possibly three priorities that our young people are facing? And then, what resources, what curriculums do we already have? What are the opportunities to partner with existing agencies and efforts across the state to really ramp this up and try to tackle some of these issues?
That's Amy Sollock, Kansas 4-H Youth Development Specialist in the Southwest Research Extension Center and K-State Associate Professor and Extension Specialist in Youth Development in the Department of Applied Human Sciences, Elaine Johannes, on the benefits of Healthy Blue and Kansas 4-H. For more information, visit kansas4h.org. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wickman, and this is the K-State Radio Network.